It has long been thought that there are space-based objects that periodically travel between stars and through our solar system. Something unexpected from deep space visited not too long ago. Another astronomer is adamant that this visitor is something entirely distinct, despite the claims of some that it was a comet or maybe an asteroid. Was it an interplanetary visitor, a disguised alien spacecraft, or was it the broken remnants of an exoplanet? And why, in the opinion of some? On October 19, 2017, scientists used the PAN-STARRS, Panoramic Survey Telescope and Rapid Response System, at Haleakala Observatory in Hawaii to find the first known interstellar object to enter our solar system. With one of the biggest digital cameras in the world, it had over 1.4 billion pixels. This massive telescope showed us a tiny dot that was flashing through our solar system like a lighthouse beacon. This was not how an asteroid or comet would behave. It was something that no one had ever seen before, in actuality. The name Oumuamua, which translates to a messenger from afar, was given by astronomers since it was the first to arrive and was thought to be an extended cigar-shaped object falling through space. It was estimated to be larger than the Eiffel Tower at 1,312 feet long and 130 feet thick because of the way it varied brightness. It's interesting to note that on September 9th, 2017, 40 days after it passed the point where it was closest to the Sun, it was spotted as it was leaving our solar system. It was traveling at a speed of roughly 196,000 miles per hour, and the manner it whizzed around the Sun suggested that it originated outside of our solar system. The item passed Earth at such a high speed that its velocity could not have been caused only by the Sun's gravity. As it accelerated through our solar system, this unidentified object was actually almost completely unaffected by the Sun. The peculiar thing about Oumuamua was that it acted like a comet even though it didn't look like an asteroid or a typical comet. Comets are tiny frozen bodies that grow volatile tails from components that evaporate from the comet's body in response to solar radiation. The fact that Comet Tua'i-Borisov, the second interstellar object discovered in 2019, behaved like a typical comet added to Oumuamua's mystique. The forces of gravity alone were not sufficient to account for Oumuamua's motions across space, according to astronomers. Some scientists thought that Oumuamua was propelling the object like a rocket by shooting gas out of its sunny side. Nevertheless, unlike a typical comet, there was no discernible tail or leaking gas. In addition, the push from Oumuamua was constant and stronger than that of any other common comet. Once cometary outgassing is ruled out and the inferred excess force is confirmed, there is only one remaining alternative, which we will discuss shortly. Many thought the object was an alien spacecraft, possibly an extraterrestrial probe with an internal power source because of the manner it accelerated. The intergalactic visitor was traveling so quickly that no telescope could get a good picture to give us a sense of its look or composition, which was another odd feature. No one knew whose solar system it originated from or how old it was. This made a big difference in the puzzle. Regarding the identity and possible origin of this first interstellar visitor, some experts have drawn wild conclusions. Oumuamua is indeed an alien spacecraft powered by a light sail, a method of propelling a spacecraft using radiation pressure given off by the sun or huge mirrors, stated Harvard astronomy expert Avi Loeb. Unless there is some kind of undetectable outgassing, the only explanation for Oumuamua's peculiar acceleration is that it was driven by solar radiation, with photons bouncing off its surface. If the item had a big surface area, a low density, and was incredibly thin, it could only be pushed by solar radiation. With its power coming from light instead of wind, such an object may serve as a sail. The only other possibility is that this item could be created by nature, which means that Oumuamua had to have been created, constructed, and launched by an extraterrestrial intelligence. The non-gravitational acceleration, according to Loeb, is an indication of purposeful movement, and Oumuamua's comet tail is not exhibiting any outgassing. This idea is unprovable, and it is highly unusual for an accomplished and reputable astronomer to make such a claim. Oumuamua may be like a pancake or a huge cookie-shaped piece of debris, a chunk from an exoplanet like Pluto, goes one such notion that has been put out. Two researchers from Arizona State argued in papers published in 2021 that the object might be a hydrogen iceberg, speculating that 400–500 million years ago, a space object struck the planet where Oumuamua originated, violently sending a chunk of the planet hurtling toward our solar system. Researchers initially believed that Oumuamua might be a long, thin, cigar-shaped object that was toppling over, but once it seemed to accelerate, they began to wonder more. Currently, scientists believe they have a good understanding of this unusual visitor and have determined that it is not an asteroid or a comet. Since the composition of Oumuamua remains unknown, scientists have calculated the various types of ice that would melt and turn gaseous at a rate that would explain the object's rocket effect. This has led them to the conclusion that the object must be composed of nitrogen ice, like that which is found on Pluto or Triton, Neptune's moon. The startling truth is that our first interstellar visitor entered the solar system in 1995, and as it approached the Sun, the frozen nitrogen layers on that portion of the planet began to disappear. The object had melted into the tiny portion that was detected, losing 95% of its mass by the time we found it. Therefore, even if it turns out that this isn't some kind of extraterrestrial technology, the prospect of a planetary fragment passing through our solar system is still intriguing, if not outright terrifying, depending on its intended trajectory. This object is now departing our solar system and will leave again in the late 2030s, entering interstellar space. Project Lyra, on the other hand, is tasked with creating concepts for contacting interstellar objects such as Oumuamua. The project's objective is to determine whether it is feasible to launch small spacecraft to observe and investigate interstellar objects. However, because Oumuamua travels at a speed significantly faster than anything we have shot into space, capturing it will be a difficult task. Still, a mission is feasible. By the late 2040s, a small light-sail spacecraft may be launched and arrive at Oumuamua. We already have the capability to carry out such a mission, which may eventually reveal Oumuamua's true nature.